You're listening or watching the 904wed.com wedding planning podcast. We are talking real weddings. We are following a very real and beautiful bride, and that is Amber Flowers right there in the bottom of your screen. And right above her is Ann LaFiles, owner of the Premier Bride of Northeast Florida franchise, magazine, Wedding Expo. She is the go-to matchmaker when it comes to putting vendors and brides and grooms together on the same page. And Amber has a wedding coming up in 2021. We were just chatting. Mask mandates are out now. People are wearing masks in public. They're expected at this point to wear masks at weddings. In a few months, who knows what that will be like. But there is more to this than just masks. There's temperature checks. And what do you do if, God forbid, a bridesmaid or groomsman gets sick maybe, or is like teetering on that? Like, where do you draw the line? Amber, let's talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about how this affects the bridal expo that's coming up as well.
I don't even think I want to answer that. It gives me anxiety. But obviously, if they get sick, I just hope for a miracle shot that it just goes away. But yeah, you do have to take temperatures. We're doing it, like I said, at the engagement party. And however long this goes on, we're going to continue to take temperatures and wear masks. It's going to be an interesting process. Knock on wood, nobody, bride or groom or any of the bridal party gets ill, or anybody. What am I saying? That was the little bridezilla of me. Anyone gets sick. But how is it handled at the bridal shows? Because there's a lot of people in and out of that.
That's a great question.
It's going to be, and I've been working hand in hand with the Prime Osborne on it, who is obviously owned by the city of Jacksonville. And it's just going to be the same way that any other major event has happened. There's going to be people at the doors doing temperature checks, making sure that nobody is sick entering in. We're going to have mandated masks. There's going to be extra sanitation stations. People are going to be washing things down. We're going to make it a really safe environment. And we just hope that if people aren't feeling well, don't come to the expo.
Right.
That's really where everybody just has to be a little socially responsible at this point. Do what's best for everybody in this aspect is that, if you're not feeling well, if you're showing symptoms of COVID or the flu or anything else that could be going around, just don't come, because there are going to be people there, and we just don't want, people getting sick right now. We want to end it as soon as possible. We want to get back to our normal lives as soon as possible. And we've got to, do what we need to do.
I'm wondering if brides and grooms are going to start to quarantine themselves, at least the new ones that are coming up soon,
Beyonce's
right?
did.
That might be a strategy to go on a 14-day pre-wedding quarantine moon, I guess is what you might call it. But it's a tough conversation to have, but this is all about real talk. We're not trying to only ask the soft questions. We have to ask the hard ones here. And unfortunately, that's a reality that a lot of brides are facing. I think a lot of brides in your shoes, Amber, who have many months away at this point, even though that's going to fly by, they're not quite as worried as maybe a bride who's a month or two away. But it's a very real concern. And I think the key thing here, like Ann was saying, with the Prime Osborne or any venue, is you need to talk and open those lines of communication, with the venue early on and know what they need, what to expect. And then I think it's okay to go ahead and let the guests know that if you're at all feeling the slightest bit ill, it's okay to stay home and protect the rest of the party, right?
Yeah. Stay home. Listen.
So let's recap the good news, right? You are weeks, if not months, into your engagement at this point. You have gotten engaged during quarantine. We have covered that. You have already asked your bridesmaids. You're waiting on your fiance to ask more of his groomsmen, but he's got a best man who said yes. So you've got that side of the aisle covered now, and you've got a DJ on board. I'm excited about that, right? You got to go watch that episode if you haven't. You've got a lot of things cooking right now. You've picked out your venue, so a lot of the big things are covered. And you picked out a dress, right, with the help of a 12-year-old. So that's sort of the recap up till now. If this is the first episode you're listening to, rewind, go start at episode 1 and catch up to us here. Binge watch or binge listen to these episodes. But what else is there coming up right now that you as a hair and makeup artist, as someone who's got experience with weddings for years, and you as well, what are some things that brides should be working on this far out that maybe they don't know about?
I'm going to let Amber start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I can just talk from personal experience and what I'm going through right now. I like to listen to and watch what's going on. So obviously, if your wedding's a year out, see what's going on. If you're getting married during high allergy season, if it's in the middle of summer, if you have, sunspots during the summer, hyperpigmentation that is a bit more pronounced, listen to yourself and watch yourself during that time. But that being said, make sure you get on a routine that's not 2 months away from your wedding. I'm starting a little bit more of an aggressive routine, almost a year away from my wedding. I see this in the business where I've had the brides in front of me and they're still peeling and they decided to get a chemical peel. And have they ever had one? No. And I'm thinking to myself, not only that, but who is your esthetician? Because that's a question. Do you have any events going on or coming up? So that's the thing that I really think that lacks in the getting married. I will say they don't really know. Brides want to do so much because they see it on a TV show or because it works for this. I've had so many people sitting in my chair and asked to look like Kim Kardashian. And I'm like, this is physically impossible. Like, there's no way. So stop saying this is what it is and having these expectations when you just drank water for a week and expect miracles in that water. Like, not to say that, but some don't have an arch in their eyebrow and they all of a sudden want crazy arched eyebrows, or they think that they can wear long lashes and they really should never, because in reality, in pictures, lashes aren't that good. So to get back to the original question, I'm sorry, but I started my skincare routine and things that I've tested. I'm very open and honest, and this is something that the reason being that this podcast is happening is I wanted to test out when I went to my plastic surgeon. I worked for a dermatologist many years ago. I've probably had about 10,000 faces, not on my own, but I've worked on about 10,000 faces with makeup. I've had 10,000 different faces, but no. And going there, I'm starting to test out, like I said, the new product. Last week, I freaked out because I tried a new eye product that I said to my dermatologist that is also joint next to is my plastic surgeon that I go to for all of my skincare needs and my Botox, and I tested out filler. But this one, they did the under eye, and I started peeling like crazy. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm having allergic reaction to this. I know that it has an aggressive product in there, ingredient, but I didn't realize it was going to burn this bad. And I'm experienced in the skincare business. But you have to also know that a week before your wedding, or 2 weeks or 2 months, pay attention, because the makeup is not going to apply the same that day. And then you're going to say, oh, well, I had a run through and it was like this. Well, you had a procedure that was not meant for the same kind of makeup. And that's what I'd say. Like, pay attention, start taking care and taking notes, and make a self-journal of the process, like your hair color to everything. Like, it's very important, because it is important to a bride. We want to be, not say perfect, nothing's perfect, but we want to feel so good. And we always will have a random pimple. We all know that's going to happen. Wherever it turns up, it's going to happen.
So I've got to ask, Anne, when I think Wedding Expo, and I think for the average person that hasn't gone, they're thinking it's got venues and photographers and videographers and photo booth people and decor people and maybe some wedding planners, but you've got a lot of kind of ancillary vendors. They're just as important to your wedding day, and this is one of them. How big is your skincare, beauty care segment? Are people getting Botox done or scheduling appointments at least at the expo?
Mm-hmm. So we have obviously plastic surgeons that come to the expo. We have estheticians, and we have, the hair and makeup artists. And so it just depends on, what your regimen is and how you feel, what you want to do on your big day. And just like Amber said, you want to start the process later in the wedding planning process than closer to the wedding, because like she said, you don't want to be having a chemical peel or something major right before your wedding, just to make sure that everything is good for the wedding day. So talk to, like I said, we have over 26 categories, I think I counted last time, of different types of wedding vendors. And it's not just the traditional ones, it's other ones too. So just like the skincare people, you definitely want to check those out and you have those conversations with them and let them know what your goals are so they can give you a timeline and then you can work back. So just having an idea of what you want to achieve and letting them know that, they're going to be able to help you get to that point if there's time.
And when it comes to hair and makeup, I'm a guy. Like I don't get into the details on this, but I've seen it.
Guys like it too.
I lived through it, right? Guys should not be ignored here either. What should the grooms be thinking about real quick? If we can't focus on them, give them 30 seconds here. Amber and Ann, what do you recommend?
High five to that. Hair.
Length of hair, yeah.
I always say stop biting your nails and get a manicure. But that's just, and like Ann said, length of hair. And I think the new thing is the mobile barber, which is a great photo op, but don't cut guys, you guys know this. Like, you want to shower right after you get your hair cut, and they're sitting there at the venue buzzing your hair, and all you want to do is shower, and now you have to go and get married. Don't do that. Like, plan it in advance.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not going into the bridal suite to get your shower after you get your hair cut. Right. So that's an excellent point there.
I do like the shave aspect of it. Like the fresh shave. If the guys, the hot shave, so that like Amber said, there are mobile barbers out there that will come to your venue. They will do the hot shave for the guys. But make sure you do a hot shave before so you know that your skin's not going to break out and they're not using like weird products on you. But length of hair for guys, look at pictures of the past. Do you look best with long hair? Do you look best with short hair? Start planning for it because, getting a new haircut right before the wedding is not the best idea.
I think the mobile barber, mobile shave idea is great, especially if you're used to that and you know how your skin reacts or they do. You've done a trial just so you know, because the last thing you want is to have a
and you can
bunch
bring in
of
your
razor
own products too.
Yeah, I think that's great. Makes you feel fresh. I can understand why brides go through all this work, because you want to feel your best. You're going to look your best. It's all going to go together. What are some of the things that you believe that brides should focus on that maybe they kind of ignore when it comes to their skincare and beauty care, not just doing it in advance, but when it comes to picking out, the hair and makeup professionals as well? Do you go with just one? There's the whole scheduling aspect, I know, because I see these timelines and brides are getting ready at 8 a.m. for a 4 p.m. wedding. Oh my gosh,
Yes, I've showed up as early as 4 a.m. to get a bridal party ready. But, I think what's lacking in the beginning of the question is that women forget to, and men, and they don't do it often enough, is moisturize. If you're Floridian and you're dealing with all of this humidity and you can see the pores are exposed and we're piling on day of makeup. So ladies, this is another thing. If you are going to go and look to hire whomever, I like doing airbrush because it's day of. Now, if you use other products, whether it be Clinique or MAC or all these things that your skin is used to, and that's why it's so important to do a run through, is because keep this makeup on that supposedly lasts. Everybody's like, oh, it lasts 12 to 17 hours. I mean, I'm 10 years in the game. Yes, it does. But it doesn't agree with all skin type. And you have to note that. But that's the bridal run through is important. And also moisturizing, under eye moisturizers. Listen to your skin, but also know that the day of makeup is for day of, and it's only supposed to stay for, when you wake up the next morning, you might be missing a lash or two, but it can stay throughout the night. It doesn't budge. Maybe your lashes will.
And what are you seeing out there in terms of trends? You've got spray tans, you've got, of course, the entire line of makeup, you've got lash extensions, eyebrow threading.
I was going to bring that up. I see, so many weddings, people want to feature their weddings in the magazine, so they send me photos and we feature tons of weddings. And I think that you have to have kind of as far as tan goes, every bride wants to be tan. And I realize that not everybody can lay out and get a natural glow. So you can do spray tans. And spray tans are fine if you've had them tested on your skin before. Mm-hmm. Don't get your first spray tan right before your wedding, because there are some things that happen with the spray tan and getting on your dress that is devastating. And when we do fashion shoots for the magazines, I tell all the models, don't come with a spray tan on, because I can't afford to try and wash that spray tan out of the dress. So there's things like that that you have to pay attention to. And spray tans are great if you know how to get the spray tan properly. Somebody's using a good quality product and you have it tested before, because not everybody's skin also looks good with a spray tan. I mean, you don't want to look oompa loompa on your wedding. And even if you go into the sun and get, try and get the natural tan, put on sunscreen, because the tan lines that you're going to be dealing with, pay attention to the style of your dress, and buy a bathing suit that matches it. So if you have a strapless dress, get a strapless bathing suit for the summer so that you don't have those tan lines going on. Just little tidbits to think about.
I've got to ask, natural tan, of course, is the best tan out there, right? Go to the beach. If you get married in the winter, that may not be a possibility. If spray tans are so bad, are tanning booths acceptable from a bridal and a groom perspective even as well?
Oh gosh, I think that this is such a brutally honest answer, and being in skin, it's going to contradict everything, but I do not like tanning beds at all. I do get a spray tan, however, and then I'll go into the stand-up tanning bed, and for 7 minutes, I will put a towel over my head, and I go and I'll just let the wind blow up, and it bakes on. And it's kind of a secret for me, and I do tell the brides that it is kind of like a little hidden secret. And then I wear white afterwards, by the way, all day. I'll wear white and I'll move around so they can see where certain parts rub of the spray tan. So if they do sweat and have sensitive reaction, but usually after the fake bake, sorry, I want to say do it, but cover your face fully. It's terrible for you, but we're all guilty. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven, but those are some secrets there. Amber's secrets when it comes to tanning. Wow, that's priceless.
Amber's right. Nobody wants the Oompa Loompa stuff. It's a real thing, and it's so hard to match a color. Now I have 36 different colors to blend and customize for different faces and different skin tones but when they're like, oh, can you cover up my tan lines? Wait, you have a tan line, then a spray tan? That's an impossible color. No, and if any makeup artist ever said they can, they're lying to you, because you can't cover it and you really can't match a spray tan. It's too orange.
Right.
A bad spray tan, sorry.
Excellent advice right there. Excellent advice. So when it comes to picking a hair and makeup artist, what do you recommend out there? Being one yourself, and you've met obviously several, right? What questions should they be asking their hair and makeup artist even before they go get a trial done? Or do you recommend they get multiple trials and see who has the best, fit for them, the best personality, understands what they want? What's reality out there?
Well, I think the most important thing is to make sure that you're hiring a licensed and insured makeup artist and hairstylist. That's number one. There's a lot of people who do makeup because it's a hobby, and they advertise that they can do makeup and hair for weddings, and they're really cheap, and you get what you pay for. And most of the venues in Northeast Florida are going to require every single wedding vendor to produce their business license and insurance. Because liability is a huge thing in the wedding industry, and wedding venues do not want to have unlicensed wedding professionals on their property. So number one. And if you come to the Premier Bride Expo, every vendor's got their business license and their insurance. So you're covered. So I think that's also, a really important aspect on who to pick. And like I said, you get what you pay for. I mean, I always recommend going with a professional. Go with someone who has done multiple weddings, who can work under pressure, who can do multiple faces in a certain amount of time, because you're on a time crunch too, and you can't wait for the makeup artist. And if there's one girl for 14 people, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So
Do you expect that they should have an assistant? Like, Amber, you're in this industry. Let's get real right now. Should you ask them what their staff looks like? How many? Anne's got a great point. How many people can you do in a couple hours or whatever it is? What is normal, and what should a bride expect?
So I will say from experience and with Glam Squad, we work at the same time. So the hairstylist is also working as the makeup artist is working too. So we're not just sending one hair to the next person that needs to get makeup done. We're working, we have, depending on what our space is, we like to, I always will have an assistant, and usually the staff is just, if there's a can of hairspray that needs to be, that needs a new one of those, or something happens with an airbrush machine, which is so common. There is always should be assistant, and that is a great question to ask, because you really want to you don't want to have like too much pressure of time. I don't know. I like to do hair and makeup for a bridesmaid, and some take longer. I've heard people take over an hour, hour and a half. And again, on experience, you're hiring somebody as a professional. I can do a 30-minute face, no problem. And also the staff has too. They're trained. I mean, they're assistants to be training to not be, like, they are apprentices in a sense. They're going to move on to the next step, so they know how to, you have to get them out of there. And with 14, 18, because it's not just the bridal party. I mean, the bridesmaids, you have the mother, the grandmother, the aunt from, nowhere, the second aunt, and they're all coming in, the cousins, and you're like, and then they always ask last minute, can you? Of course we can. You always make time for the can you. Of course.
Right.
Well, and I think also with hair that people have to realize too is that people have some really extravagant hair on Pinterest that they want done. And some people don't realize that hair might require hair extensions to make it full.
Great point, Anne.
People want all these really cool braids. We're seeing all these really neat braids, but most women don't have hair to be able to do that. So you kind of needed to let the stylist know what you want to do before, so you can go out and buy hair if you need to in order to create that look. And that also takes a lot of extra time too. People have to be able to budget for that, in the sense of time.
And that's an excellent point, because we've had bridesmaids that come in and brought all these hair extensions, and we have them fill out to where are there going to be hair extensions, and then their inspiration photos. And that's a great point about Pinterest, because we've done photo shoots, aside from weddings, that we've had to add probably 3 packs of hair to make that photo that they wanted for the certain, photo shoot that we were doing to come to reality. Now, and it was also a 3-hour process for that hair. So, and you have to wash the extensions. So there's certain things that you definitely want to be specific when booking a hair and makeup artist. Be specific. And I hope the hair and makeup artists come back with, if they do have this inspiration photo, say, hey, you're going to need to at least spend $100 to $400 in hair to make it look that way. Not even your own hair. Someone else's hair.
Someone else's hair.
Yeah. Right. I've got to ask some hard questions here. Who pays for the bridesmaids and everyone else's hair? Is that expected nowadays, that it's the bride that's covering this? Where does that fit in?
From experience, I have to say a lot of them take care of their brides. In my situation, a lot of them have. I think it's a kind gift to give.
And what do you think?
I think it's a great gift to give your bridesmaids, if that is an option for you, because being a bridesmaid can be expensive, and not every bride covers the entire process of the bridesmaid. So paying for hair and makeup, I think, is a wonderful gift to give your bridesmaids. But if you can't do that, I always think not requiring your bridesmaids to do it is a nice option, but giving them the option.
Gotcha.
If they're paying for it themselves.
And Amber, I've got to ask the number one question I've been waiting the whole episode to ask this. Who is doing your hair and makeup yourself?
Great question. And it is still the number one question. As far as my bridesmaids, I have some people that I've worked with throughout Florida that has Glam Miami, and I have some coming up from that. And then my hair is my guru, my go-to, Laura Carmichael, and I immediately reserved her once I found out. We locked the date in. Moment that Chandler was like, "This is available," I called her. So she is my go-to. That's already booked. That's already taken care of.
And this
and I will be taking care of my bridesmaids. I will be, yeah.
That's nice of you. And this, of course, would not be a wedding podcast if we didn't mention and talk, what is the Glam Squad? We don't like to self-promote on here, but you've mentioned it. I'm sure people are going to want to know, how can they get more information? It sounds like a team of people descending on your wedding to make you glamorous, but something tells me there's more to it than that.
There is a little more to Glam Squad. So it started in Jacksonville High School, and how you want to do, if it's just for Jacksonville, my team in Jacksonville, and this is where we are from, and it's she's one of my bridesmaids and my business partners, and when we started Glam Squad, it started in Jacksonville, expanded, moved down to Miami, became something that's a bit more mobile. I had a business partner that came in touch. I was working for Wilhelmina agency at the time, and they wanted to expand the hair and makeup, but make it more mobile. And I was like, this is a great idea. So it's in Miami. I just got picked up in Boston. It's in New York. But as far as Glam Squad Jacksonville, we still kept it to where it was homegrown. And so Glam Squad Productions is just for Jacksonville's division only. And it's still the people have been with me, my ride or dies in the business, trustworthy, and they are still out, and they're my team.
Wow, that is a lot of information I feel like we have covered on this podcast today. I'm a little overwhelmed myself. I feel for all of you brides out there that have to make all of these decisions. There are so many to make. 26 categories of vendors at Premier Bride coming up, and in July. How can people learn more about the Premier Bride Expo?
It's simple. Go to our website. PremierBrideExpo.com is where you can get information about the show. We have the list of vendors that are going to be at each expo, and you can get your tickets for $8 online, which is a discounted price. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.
All of those links can be found on 904wed.com, so you can follow along. Amber, we've got July 4th coming up. You've got an engagement party. You've got a trip to Ohio coming up. Not sure which part of Ohio, but I think things are pretty open up there. So that should hopefully be an easy trip for you. What is coming up after that?
I think that we are going into, we're taking our photos in Ohio, but I've kind of have something a little behind the scenes for you guys later on with that. And I think I'm going to try to sit back and gather my thoughts of what is next. I think I need some help. I'm in the process of getting a little overwhelmed, and you start to lose yourself in it. So I'm going to be grabbing at Anne, like, please, what do I do next?
I'll help you.
Anne will help out. Well, we will be talking more about this. I cannot wait to hear how your engagement party weekend goes. Ladies, have a great 4th of July coming up. Thank you for sharing some of those secrets today, Amber. Those are priceless. Love it. Absolutely love it.
I'm so happy to be here.
And hopefully we will see everyone else at the Premier Bride Expo, whether it's this one or another one coming up. You'll see Anne at the check-in table, checking you in, seeing if you're a groom with a bride, if you're a groom on a mission trying to find vendors, if you've got certain responsibilities, we want to hear from you there as well. So again, thank you everyone for joining us here on the 904wed.com podcast. We love featuring our beautiful bride Amber on here, talking to Anne LaFiles about Premier Bride, the magazine and the expo, and we want to hear from you as well. So don't be afraid to reach out, drop us some questions. We would love to help you get some answers yourself. Find us on future episodes, 904wed.com. Thank you, and we will catch you next time.